They say I'm live. Let's go. I don't even want to say no drunk drivers. I'm thinking about branching off and doing another show or another channel. It's going to be centered on topics such as this, sports related, but also the race factor and all that stuff. Still coming up with a name. I just wanted to speak. I didn't even do my typical grooming. For those who don't know, man, when you this streaming stuff, that's a full-time job. I do it as a passion project, meaning it's just something that I want to do. I enjoy doing it at times. Um, and that's why I do it. Nothing more, nothing less. I never monetize anything. I just like to spread awareness and enlightenment. But I also do not want to be boxed in just on serious topic matters, topics and subjects. But I have to go there with this one. I just wanted to talk about it. Austin Reaves, as you can see in the title, got the bag. Is it good or bad for LA? I'll answer that, and you will probably figure out where I'm leaning to, or the answer to that question. Is that good or bad for LA? Let's just give a short background of, and I'll just personalize it from my perspective in regards to Austin Reeves. No, I don't know him personally. I don't have any inside information. I just remember his his rise within the ranks of the Lakers. And it was a feel good story. I believe he was undrafted, working his way through. And I remember when he was like a rookie and they were talking about this young prospect putting up good numbers in the G League or D League or whatever you want to call it. And at that time, it's like, hey, why not? If the dude balling, go ahead, let him rock out. So yes, everybody was cheering for him. Especially if you're a Laker fan, of course you want everybody to do good. You just want to win games. Any player to make your team better. And he kept doing his thug thizzle and continued to show potential. Because at that point it was potential. So potential in sports, a lot of times that will get you paid more than production. That's why they changed the way the contracts are issued, because at one point I forgot what year. I want to do more research. I want to dive um, do a full assessment of this. But I know at one point I believe the rookies were coming in, and if they were a high draft prospect or a high prospect, they were getting paid more than the veterans, people who have are proven commodity in the league. And so I believe the what is it, NBPA, the you know what it is, the whatever the people who do the contracts or whatever, and negotiate with the league. Man, it's skipping my brain, but so you can excuse me for a second. Yeah, it's late night, so we're gonna do a lot of rambling and talking, for the sports heads. But you know what I'm talking about? The people who negotiate with the league, and then they end up signing a contract with the league, and they talk about a lot of things, but one of the most important things is how the money is split. Whether it's 50-50 or 49-51, et cetera, et cetera. And I believe that was one of the changes that they put in. Players Union, I think that's it. I'm not sure. That they put in is to kind of put a cap on the rookies that were being drafted within the league. Right. Now, I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, so yes, we've always been Most fans they side with the players. Get your money, get your money, get your money, get your money. Most of the time, you rarely hear guys, especially with LA. And that's why I'm making this video because I this is the first time I've really felt this way. And I'm seeing the fans speak out against it. Um, so yeah, Austin was he continued to put numbers up, continue to show potential, continue to do his thing. And we knew at some point if he continued on this rise, meteoric rise, he's going at some point he's going to get some money because they were saying he was overplaying his contract, which by the numbers, I would say I would agree based off the league and his peers and the people who were putting up numbers such as his, they were getting paid a lot more. And this went on for a few years. I believe it was great strategy for Austin Reeves and his camp because he didn't want to go anywhere else. Lakers were in dire need of a good player, a good somebody who showed a lot of potential, and there were a couple of swings and misses, or players that got away, such as Josh Hart, um, Alex Caruso. There were some other ones they got away, and they kind of missed on draft picks. Even though Lonzo Ball, he was highly touted coming in, and I would have, looking back, of course, you would rather have Jason Tatum. I believe they could have drafted Jason Tatum. So after a while, after a couple of years, you get to see how players pan out, and you go, "Oh man, they really missed out on this one." So here's another one. Then they paid Taylor Horton Tucker over Alex Caruso, so that stung. That really stung the Laker fan base, the Lakers organization. Um, and even right now, it still stings because Alex Caruso is what they've been attempting to acquire. So they had him and they let him go. They chose the other guy. Austin is the beneficiary of that. And because of that, that worked out in his favor. And his camp, they did a good job of making sure he stayed in LA. A lot of players run away from the bright lights. He flourished in the bright lights. That's another thing. So kudos to him for flourishing in the bright lights to position himself to get said contract. I believe the last couple of years, maybe the last 2 years, the contract has been, that's been a main topic because we knew this day would come. Would he get the bag, or would the Lakers move on from him? Would they try to trade him or just let him walk? And they knew that at some point you would not be able to keep him at the same numbers. And the fans, they supported him through this. And this is why I think now fans will be a little bit more careful in gaslighting and gassing up a player because it can come back to bite you in the you know what. And I think this is what may have happened right now. Fans were always in support of Austin Reeves. Everybody loves a feel good story. So finally, this day comes. Now, this last year, let's bring it back before I get more into what I want to discuss. This last year, we knew this was it. He was on the last. He opted out the years prior, a couple of years prior. So we knew this day was coming. And this was the year. I was a little bit apprehensive on just co-signing on him getting the bag. But this year, right here, was the year that the fans were viewing him under a critical lens. See, before it was more like house money because you had him on the low, and I believe he even took a hometown discount on his extension. Well, just by him signing that extension, he pretty much equate into a hometown discount. But this year, all of that stuff was coming to an end. This year, evaluating Austin Reeves, and this is I believe the second year with Luca, and we wanted to see, of course, LeBron James on the team. We wanted to see what they can do. We wanted to see it. And then they got DeAndre Ayton, a couple of pieces, Marcus Smart. So it's like, hey, we may be able to do something. We may be able to make some noise. This is it. And Austin, he was in the playoffs prior to that, and he would not perform up to, I would say, uh bag standard. But you couldn't really hold him accountable, too much accountable, because it's like, hey, he really not getting paid as a star player, but yet you want him to perform as a star. But we knew this day was coming. We knew this day was approaching. And so all season, I went in with a critical eye on Austin Reeves because we knew he was going to shoot for the bag. And he started out blazing hot. He was on fire. He was on fire. Numbers were great. And then he got injured. And he got injured. Injured during a critical game. I want to say, did he start the season injured? No, no, no. I believe Luca did and LeBron did. I want to say LeBron and I want to say, I mean, it may have been LeBron and Luca started the season injured. And so Austin Reeves, he carried the Lakers, and he was putting up great numbers. They were getting victories, and it was like, whoa, the sky's the limit now. We're gonna get Luca back, we're gonna get LeBron back, and you're only gonna get better with those two on a squad. And they were already pretty good just with Austin Reeves. You can correct me if I'm wrong, though, if I'm wrong on my timeline, because I'm doing this uh live, no notes or anything like that. So he gets injured, I believe, against OKC. This game was supposed to be almost a measuring stick, pause, on how good were the Lakers against the number one team, because OKC, they are a powerhouse. Want to see how they measure up against you're going to see playoff teams. If you're gonna want to win a championship, you're going to have to come across OKC at some point. Spurs and all these other guys, especially in the West. He gets hurt. I want to say Luka got hurt and then he gets hurt. Ironic. So we're like, huh. And then I remember watching on Gilbert Arenas' show that, and before I move forward, player shows, they drop nuggets. Sometimes players will make official statements. Sometimes they will make statements within a conversation that may not have anything to do with the particular subject matter, but it's something that it raises the eyebrows. You go, oh, I didn't know this happens. And so when Gil and he brushed over it, they were just talking about, oh, Lakers lost and Austin Reeves got injured, and Gil and Nick Young were laughing. And so Gil, I'm going to paraphrase, but it's like, oh yeah, we know what that's about. Yeah, and they start laughing. We know what that's about. Yeah. Gotta protect them numbers. Gotta protect them numbers. You know how Gil is. He get animated and stuff, and Nick Young laughing, I believe. And so when he said that stuck with me. And I believe they may have even reinforced that concept with personal stories of their own, or people who they know. A lot of times they won't say the player's name, but they'll give you enough information to where you can figure it out if you're a fan of the game. And all throughout that episode, that stuck with me. Kind of like, is he really doing that? It makes sense because you can, average wise, it keeps your average, because you put in X amount of work and you got the numbers at the highest that you've able to get it. And I don't want to say inflate the numbers, but because Luca Luka Doncic and LeBron were out, your numbers go up. This is a contract year. You always hear things about contract year. And oh yeah, I believe LeBron came back. His numbers went down a little bit, and then boom, he gets injured. Soft tissue injury. We hear about that stuff too. A lot of the player podcasts, they kind of talk about that too. They make jokes about it. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. When things get a little bit too tough, and where it'll benefit them or whatever their agenda is to get injured. So it's always a soft tissue, hamstring, my back, stuff you really can't measure. You really can't x-ray it. Hey, you don't want to say, oh man, I fractured my elbow. They can just do an x-ray and see that your elbow is not fractured. Right. And he went out. He came back. Because that was his time. He should have been shining. Like, hey man, we want to see what you're about. Especially when Luka go down. Hey, let's see if you can carry it. We know you're going to be gunning for that bag. Let's see what you got. He gets injured. And LeBron and Luka, I think, LeBron for the most part, he was very consistent this year as far as availability. Pretty much the most durable star at the old age of quote unquote 41, quote unquote old age of 41, kept the team afloat. Fast forward all the way to playoffs. And no, within the regular season, I believe Austin came back. And did he get injured again? Yes, he did get injured again. He did get injured again. And because I'm trying to figure out, did that injury carry on into the playoffs or did he get injured again? Either or, we entered the playoffs with Austin Reaves being injured and also Luka Doncic being injured. Mind you, this was this was the year that Austin was going to be evaluated very critically, especially by the fans. And I'm sure the organization was too. And Lakers had high hopes because they went on a run. They went on a good run. Yeah, I don't want to say Austin was healthy for that run. They went on a good run. Team was healthy, and they went on a run. Got all the way up to like the 2 seed at one point, I believe. I want to say they finished third or fourth. It's one of those two. And then Austin gets injured again. How convenient. Because if you look at his playoff numbers, they're not impressive. So how do you keep your numbers afloat? Hey, injury. This is all conspiracy theory, but it's lining up. I don't know what else to think or believe. And I'm like, is this guy, is he really doing this? So Lakers square up against the Rockets. No Luka Doncic, no Austin Reaves. Mind you, we were like, hey, regular season, all right, cool. We've seen that act before. What can you do in the playoffs? Because in the playoffs, you're either getting smoked by Denver or Thunder, whoever you play against, whatever team it was, you're always coming up short. And you had a lot of fall guys. It was either Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell. I don't know if he was there during the Westbrook days, but we'll just throw that out there too. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Russell Westbrook. I always get it. That's always a tongue twister. So there was always a fall guy, but you want all this money. But when it's time to show and prove, you either had a bad performance and then now you're unavailable. So I really thought the Lakers were going to lose against the Rockets. LeBron did LeBron things. It's not, it doesn't surprise me or shock me because it is LeBron James. He carried the team to victories in the playoffs. LeBron is measured by championships, though. So, but it still was very impressive, especially at his age, to do that. And they were winning. I want to say they went up 3-0. Oh, let me throw this out there too. Lakers signed Luke Kennard. Shout out to Locker Room LA, man. Y'all know who Locker Room, he a wild boy. Shout out to him, man. Cause he been lighting the fire. I was like, man, he be hitting some points. Uh, but I'll talk about that in a different show, probably. Because the concept of what I want to do, I'm like, oh, it's nothing new under the sun. And I've always had that vision. It's just good to know that somebody else was on the same page and seeing the things that I was seeing. That's why I wanted to call my show Racism in Sports. So shout out to him, man. I came across his page not too long ago, and he a wild boy, but he give it straight up, no filter. So it's funny. And Luke Kennard was signed, 3-point marksman. Mind you, Austin was he was injured. Luke Kennard started to perform. This was, I want to say, at the tail end of the regular season. He may have been part of the run. Maybe they got him during after Christmas free. I'm not sure. Was he after the what do they do where you can add a veteran after the trade season or whatever you want to call it? But anyway, he was performing, and then Austin, he was hurt. I've heard players talk about this too. You can lose your job to a substitute, a backup, if you're a starter, you're not available, and that backup begins to perform and put up numbers because more than likely the backup is going to be a lot cheaper than the starter. And he's putting up equivalent numbers or even better. People are going to put two and two together. And, teams are always looking to save money, but also get the best deal and get more bang for their buck. Luke Kennard was putting a lot of pressure on Austin Reaves. So magically he comes back. And like I said, locker room, he broke that down already. So to go check him out. Um, and I'm like, huh. And I remember watching Gil's Arena again. And they made a joke about that. Like, oh yeah, he gonna come back now. He gonna come back. Oh, Luke Kennard gonna make sure he gonna come back. Because he gonna mess around and lose his job. Austin's in a contract year. That's not good to have the backup outperform you, especially in the playoffs. He was hooping to the tune of winning a series where you were the underdog in due to injuries, but still the underdog without your presence. So he comes back, and then the Lakers start losing. And also defense was also, that's always been his Achilles heel, talking about Austin Reaves. But ultimately, they ended up winning, and the hopes were to get Luka Doncic back for the second round against the Thunder. Once again, underdog, but it's like, hey man, Lakers were on a roll from the end of the season into the playoffs. Like, hey, we may be able to pull off an upset. Hey, we beat the Rockets. That's an upset within itself. Even though I think they had a couple of injuries. Now Austin's back. Eyes are on you again. What are you going to do in the playoffs against elite teams, playoff teams? His numbers were okay, but max numbers, no. And of course, they get swept. So then the offseason begins. What are they going to pay Austin Reaves? And you start hearing reports that I believe were probably conjured up by Laker pundits, Trevor Lane and Lakers Nation and Basketball Bulletin and all the other guys. Because if you're a Laker fan, you watch those shows. Shout out to them. You watch those shows because they're plugged in. So all throughout this time, though, all of the Laker pundits, man, they just kept gassing up Austin Reaves. And as a fan, I just continuously see Lakers get knocked out of the playoffs, and Austin numbers are not that impressive. But he was paid what it was getting paid, so you really couldn't point the fingers at him. And so now I remember seeing how they were comparing Austin to other players, and I'm like, whoa, 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 hold up. I think I see an agenda. I see the play. I see the play. Speculation, and I've always thought this that some agents have media personnel on the payroll, and the way they were talking about Austin, it really had me looking at a lot of the known media pundits, especially who cover the Lakers. I'm looking at them critically now, and every time the Austin Reeves subject matter were to appear, I'm really combing through their words, and they painted him up like a Picasso picture. They painted him up like a Picasso picture, and I was like, wow, the play is in. But I'm like, nah, Lakers. Still, this is a business. We got a quote unquote new owner, governorship, all that good stuff. They're gonna right the ship. He's linked in with Magic Johnson. We know Magic Johnson. He got the killer. He got the magic smile, but he's a killer. So I didn't think that when it was time to pay, they would pay. Plus, there really wasn't too many suitors. You heard about the Nets, and then I'm like, well, that could be trumped up by the agents. Because at this time, with the age of information, we start learning more about all the tricks and practices that sports, that really the nuances of sports. It's not how it was in yesteryear when all we can really um look or I don't want to say, I'm trying to think of the word, really dive into. I know it's a different word that I'm looking for. I ain't even shaved, by the way. I ain't do nothing. So yeah, I'm doing this off the whim, man. Shut up. But anyway, yeah. But we all we had was magazines, newspaper articles, and ESPN, and that was it. It wasn't no dedicated channels or anything like it is now, especially with the internet boom and all that. So what I'm getting at is the cat's out the bag on some of the tricks that goes on, especially when it comes to money. And when it comes to money, and this has nothing to do with sports, but just in general, corruption, anything with big money, corruption will ensue. I don't care what business it is. I don't care whatever it's tied to, corruption will ensue when it comes to big money. And a lot of the pundits were on Austin's side. And I'm like, hold up. Anthony Davis won your championship. Like I said, these are a lot of locker room talking points, but I was just repeating some of this stuff because he really brought some of that to my attention. So shout out to him. I don't want y'all to think I'm swagger jacking. Plus, I don't want no beef with him, man. He is relentless. That man pulled no punches. AD, yes, frustrating, but he did win a championship. LeBron, he won a championship. Luca has not. Numbers great. Has the accolades. All right, but Austin has zero. Has not led to many. I don't even think he's won a playoff series in a Laker uniform. I don't even give him credit for this last series because he was injured most of the time, and then about time when he came back, the heavy lifting was already done by LeBron James and Luke Kennard. So he hopped on. They were winning without you. They probably would have swept the Rockets without him, or it wouldn't have been as difficult. They had to work him back in the lineup. Um, and just thinking about the players along the years where Lakers have shown like, hey man, you either get it done or we're gonna ship you out. Even with Dwight Howard and other players, hey, you either get it done or we're gonna ship you out. And these are players with accolades, right? Austin has none, respectfully. And it seems like throughout this negotiation, they were negotiating against themselves. Everything was leading towards, hey, you feel you're worth this? Let's see what the market. What's your true value? Let the market dictate your value. I would have felt better about Lakers paying that type of money if another team offered an official, not a rumor, because you look at all the reports, it's always rumored this and links to this. Anybody can write that. I'm talking about official contract, not no vague statement on what you may have heard or think they're going to do or what's plausible and all that other stuff. Because that's the only thing that was concrete was it was just based off something being plausible. And so everything was lining up for the market to dictate his value. Hey, you feel you're a max? All right. Let's see if another team offers you the max. If they offer you the max, Lakers want you that much. Okay, they can match. To me, that's good business. It's nothing personal. It's good business. Lakers didn't even do that. You have a backcourt that plays no defense. Now they're clamoring for a center. So you want to get all these players to cover up your deficiencies, but you want to spend money on a player that does not cover up the deficiencies that you're looking for. You're always talking about 3 and D. Need a rim protector and wing defender. He does neither. He helps on offense, but he gives up just as much defense, if not more. And he does not have the physical size to offset his lack of defense. At least with Luka, you can hide Luka because of his. You can just switch his position, put him at power. Have him guarding a power forward or small. Someone. Somebody slow or whatever. Because it's not the big brutes of yesteryear where people are going to back you down in the post. So he has the size to maintain that. He can just guard a power forward and hide him. Austin, you have to put him on a guard for the most part. And he does not have the foot speed to keep up with guards. You don't get you may be able to improve a little bit with foot speed, but for the most part, athleticism, you either have it or you don't. And all throughout the years, all I hear about is skill based. Skill, 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 skill. Hey man, skill is one thing, but skill it doesn't win you everything. Oh, the 3-point shot, 3-point shot, 3-point shot. How many teams are actually winning with the 3-point shot? One can always say Golden State, but they played defense. They were always ranked high in defense. Even Boston, they shot a lot of threes, but they played defense. Their top players were not lunch meat on defense. And so for the Lakers to spend max money on a guy with no accolades, has not contributed or really can't really claim playoff victories under his belt or playoff advancement under his belt to pay max money, that is not the Laker way. Yeah, I am. I'll see how this free agency unfold, but this will be the first year that I'm off the Laker bandwagon officially. I can't stand this. I cannot stomach this. So now you have LeBron James waiting out in the whim, and I don't blame LeBron if I'm not sure what he was talking his talking points as far as negotiating, but hell no, I'm not taking less than a max so you can pay this guy who's not producing, and you're still going to put all the responsibility on me because Austin Reaves cannot produce like that. So why should I take less money to help him out when I'm doing all the work? And I still take the brunt, even though he was relegated to the quote unquote 3 man, the third guy on the team or whatever. Yeah. So is it good or bad for the Lakers? I believe it's terrible for the Lakers. I don't know where do they go from here. You have now entered into the realm of the poison pill contract. It's going to be very difficult for him to outperform this or even match a max player contract. Yes, there have been precedents have been set with prior players not having the accolades and still getting max money. Damian Lillard comes to mind, but he was the focal point of the team and outperforming a lot of the peers. But because he played in a quote unquote small market, we all were like, man, this dude's a bona fide all star. Why is he not in the all star team? Because at one point, it took him a little while to break that threshold of becoming an all star. So, and there were other players who fit that mold, but they were the number one option on their team, and their team was doing pretty damn good. Damian Lillard was Lilliard. Is it Lilliard or Lillard? Lillard, Lillard. Lillard. He was yeah, because he was always getting snubbed before he started get breaking it. He broke the mold of being an all star. He was getting snubbed at first. So is Austin Reeves on the same trajectory as Damian Lillard? Because the max money, that's what you're telling me. I can even see if he was a center, because a talented center, you're still 7 foot and have skills. So I can always salvage that. I can always use you on the floor, even just sitting under the glass, get a rebound, put your hands up, deflect the shot or whatever. You can still be effective on defense, even if you have little to no defensive prowess. Austin Reeves does neither. Neither. He brings scoring, he brings playmaking. That's it. And you offer this guy max money. I don't know where the Lakers go from here. Uh, yeah. And another thing I wanted to touch was, and it's funny, man. It seemed like, and I'll end on this note. Justin Bieber. You're like, what does Justin Bieber have to do with this? When you have someone of the other race who do not look like you and they venture into realms of society that's dominated by people who don't look like them. So like Tiger Woods when he was golfing, we know who dominate the golf world. And so to see someone who looks like me rise and dominate within the golf world, of course, we were rooting for him. But at that point, even though he was great, very great at what he does, he could have been average, and we still would have rooted for him and cheered him on as if he was the best player ever. Because you want to see that person excel. It's like, hey, you're breaking some type of barrier. So typically you see and hear about that with blacks breaking barriers with whites. So bring it back to Justin Bieber. He was breaking a barrier. I remember him when he was a little kid, and my nieces were. I'm like, man, who is this little boy? They singing along. And I'm like, oh, okay, kid song, whatever. Hey, let them rock out, man. That's what's up. And then after a while, the popularity just kept growing and growing and growing, and then he became a superstar. Then he became overpowered. Then I'm like, hold up. Because then they started having a comparison. Hey, is he better than Usher? Hey, where is he better than Michael Jackson and Chris Brown and all this? I'm like, whoa, 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 pump your brakes. It was fine back then, when you was on a come up. All right, man, I ain't gonna hate on you. But when you're when you're the minority in a space and you're excelling or even performing at the same rate as your peers, everything is going to get multiplied because optic wise, you don't fit the mold of what was normally of the people or the personnel that excel in that realm. So that's Justin Bieber. Eminem comes to mind as well with the rap. White guy rapping, predominantly black rap world, Hey, you put a couple of rhymes together, sounds great. Oh man, now you're the best ever. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Pump your brakes. And so now this is one of the few times. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention because now I do see more white players in the NBA, but like Luca, and then you have Jokic. Those are the two that most notably receiving a lot of praise, but they do put up the numbers. Even though I'm more of a stickler on defense, like, all right, you can put up numbers offensively, but last time I checked, basketball is a two-way game. You still must have defense. So when they start going, oh man, he's the best center ever. Oh, he's better than the King. He's better than Shaq. I go, whoa, 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 pump your brakes. What has he done? Oh, he got a ring. And if you really look at that championship run and with a critical eye, he really didn't have to go through uh, tough opponents. There was some luck involved. I'll say that, but I'll do another video on that one. And so I believe Austin Reeves has been the beneficiary of that by him being a white guy excelling in a black sport. And you're going to get that fandom, whether they want to admit to that or not. And it was cool when he was coming up, but then it's like, all right, now you're talking about big money. Hold up, hold up. Now you got to produce. Let's see what you're really working with. And this was the year to do it, and he did not do it. And I see all the other players being held to a standard. You either produce or you don't. It's a lot of people like Cat Williams. I mean, not Cat Williams, Carl Anthony Towns, and uh, hell, even Rudy Gobert. He got all this money. At least he got accolades. It's many different players that I can I can't think about right now. Even Tatum and Brown, some of their numbers were coming in the scrutiny before they won the championship, right? And these are complete players. I'm glad Carl Anthony Towns got that ring, so now he get that monkey off his back. Oh, and another thing before I get off, so yeah, Austin Reeves, he did get his popularity multiplied with the race factor. I believe that played into his contract. The Lakers, I do believe, have severely overpaid, and now you're stuck with a poison pill contract because now you're gonna have hell trying to move this guy. Who's gonna want him? They could have got him. You keep, I hear talks about, hey, you could have traded him. You can trade him later on. No, you can't. They could have got him for the low because they didn't know official offers or what Lakers were offering him. This was your time. They didn't want to get him for the low because they knew he was talking that max talk. Like I said, bad business. Let the market dictate your value. If you're a true max player, typically there's no discussion. It's, hey, where do I sign? Hey, here goes the contract. Here it is. It's max. It's already known. I've never seen a max player uh go through this type of I don't want to say arbitration, maybe negotiated or whatever it is. The way it unfolded, I've never seen a max player, the way things unfolded, happen this way. To where, hey, is he worth the max or not? See, when I think of max player, think about it like this: can a woman be a little bit pregnant or all the way pregnant? See, no, you're either pregnant or you're not. It's one or the other. Max player, it should not be a think topic or a think tank. It should not even be a topic of discussion. You know if that person's a max player or not. Just like this. It's very simple. That's a max player. Yeah, and so before I'll close out on this. Jalen Brunson, I thought he reset the market. He took less. Shout out to locker room because I'm stealing your points, man. Yeah, I know, but it was just on my mind. Trust me, I don't have to do a show stealing points, but I'm a person that hey man, I'll give credit where credit is due because I wasn't thinking about it this way. Luca's backup won the championship, led by Jalen Brunson, and he took less than the max. And he's the small guy, under 6'5", and all this stuff. The underdog. He outperformed Luca and AR. Got a ring before both of them. Now, to Luca's credit, he did go to the NBA Finals one year. So that's what I'm saying. You can kind of justify Luca's, but come on, man. AR has not done anything. Anything. No awards, no nothing. Even though awards can be biased, but still, stuff like that matters. Uh, and Jalen Brunson, I thought he reset the market. He took less. So I'm like, there's no way they're going to pay Austin Reaves more than Jalen Brunson. Hey, you can bring that to the negotiating table. Like, hey, man, I mean, yeah, we want to pay you, but hey, this is what, for one, no team is really knocking down the door with offers. Two, Jalen Brunson, man. Look, this is what we expect out of our max players. That's the talk that I thought that the Lakers were going to have with Austin Reaves. Hey, man, this is what we expect out of our max players. Let's pull up the numbers and see what, hey, you compare to Jalen Brunson. Y'all around the same height at least. Different build, but still, Jalen Brunson is not a defensive stalwart, whatever that word is. I know what I'm talking about. He's not a defensive guy like that. I don't know if he's been hunting and targeted on defense, but Austin, you're in the same bracket as far as, I don't even want to say skill set, but let's just say the stuff that you bring to the table as far as scoring and assists and stuff like that. No, but you're not even in the same breath or category as a Jalen Brunson. Let's not get it confused. And no, I'm not even trying to imply that. Y'all just play the same position. How about that? That's about as close as he is to Jalen Brunson. Yeah, you play the same position. And y'all are around the similar height. You may have got him by an inch or two, which should be to your advantage, which is why I'm like, hey, there's no excuse for your performance like this. But anyway, he took less. He don't have the max, and he's an NBA champion and beat some great teams. I had nobody picked the Knicks. Come on, man. They're at best they were a dark horse team to win. At best, dark horse. Hey, let me check my see if there's anybody in there. All right, yeah, we good. At best, dark horse, and they won. And he won against some elite teams. Elite teams. So no, man. For him to get that contract, that pretty much signed my fandom away. It's going to lead to other discussions. Uh yeah, because that happens. What happened? I'm gonna save that for another day. It is a microcosm of society, though. Like I said, Locker Room did a great show on that. Check him out, Locker Room LA. I believe that's the name of him. Check him out. If you like this, you'll love like him because he backs it up with the stats and he goes very in depth with the stuff that I'm talking about. But like I said, I'm going off the dome with this, and it's just whatever's popping up in my mind. That's what I'm speaking about. But I'm doing this with no notes or anything, no research, because I've been watching sports virtually a lifetime. Your boy got some age on him. So my primary subject matter is going to be probably from the 90s to the 2000s. That's where I was locked in and I can just go go. And I want to the same lens that I'm viewing this Austin Reaves thing. I'm going to do that within the 90s and 2000s. Because those are my eras. And I can boom, 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 break it all down. And it'll probably give you all some insight and a better grasp grasp on how some teams are in the position where they are right now. Oh, there was some stuff that went on, and I'm gonna do some breakdowns on that. And 2020 is hindsight. So now I can talk about it. As a matter of factly. It's not even opinion based no more. See, this is opinion based. When I'm talking about 90s, 2000s, it's facts. It's already happened. It's in the books. It's on the record. Same thing was going on. Same thing. But yeah, man, you did it, Lakers. You did it. You may be able to save face. I doubt it because this wasn't a sign and trade. I doubt if he gets traded, especially at that number. Uh, but who knows? They've been able to pull some stuff out, some magic. So we'll see. But if it's as is, because there's still some more dominoes to fall. If the team stands as is, you're projected probably to get LeBron James, maybe, but now that's in jeopardy. Because at this point, I don't even want him to come back. Not because I don't like him, but it's like, nah, man, that's disrespectful. He should have got the max. Now I think they still can offer him the max or very close to it. I think it's 3 years, 158 million. There's no chump change, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see, man. I don't know. I don't know. This is not looking good, and yeah. But hopefully you all were entertained and enlightened. And I want to do more shows like this, but I want to do it on my topics, not just the current topic. I want to talk about the stuff that I want to talk about. Like I said, it's going to be based in 90s and 2000s. So basically the Jordan era, and of course, this guy's era. I seen him. Man, got him on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got that boy on the wall, man. You know it's gonna be his era. Uh, but yeah, I'm looking around, man. I do got a lot of Kobe stuff. Yeah, and I'll give a breakdown as to why I'm a Kobe fan, but I didn't start off as a Kobe fan. Oh man, I hated him. I hated him at first. I was all MJ, even though I still rock with MJ. But it was like, oh man, nobody worry about no Kobe. But then I seen how they turned on him. But I'll break all that down. That's what made me a Kobe fan and how he persevered through that. It wasn't always a media darling or sensation. He was at one point. Then they turned on him. Oh, they turned on him. And that's when I started to see the dirty game of media power and influence. And this is the Austin Reaves. That's the latest example of media power and influence, how they gassed him up into a max contract. Media power and influence. Mm-hmm. And that goes on in the real world too. Uh, but yeah, I think that's it, man. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Hopefully you all were enlightened and entertained. And I want to do more shows like this. I'll probably start a new channel. Just got to figure out the name. And we will go from there. Kobe shirt. All right, man. Till next time. I'm out. And how long did this go? Where is the stop button? Yeah, I need to work on my stuff, man. I want to get my setup right. I'm gonna stop playing around, get a good setup, and get everything cracking. How do you turn this thing off? Yeah, I'm tripping, man. All right, let's see. Uh. Oh, there you go. Old head. Hey, man, be patient. Old heads, man. You know how we do. We be slipping on electronics. At one point, I used to know how to build a computer from scratch. So yeah, old heads, stay up on your technology, man, because if not, it'll leave you behind. 54 minutes off the dome. I still got it. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show, man, to where you can run a whole show, 54 minutes off the dome. Anyways, till next time. Peace.